This is Act 1, Scene 2, and it's from line 155, so it's right at the end of the scene. And it's a really important moment in the play because it's an opportunity for Prince Hal to speak directly to the audience without anyone else around. So it is a soliloquy. And in that he will talk about the fact that he is playing a role, just like an actor, in the way that he spends time with the commoners, and that he's doing it as a means of him being able to be a better king. He says, "I know you all, and will a while uphold the unyoked humour of your idleness. Yet herein will I imitate the sun, who doth permit the base contagious clouds to smother up his beauty from the world, that, when he please again to be himself, being wanted, he may be more wondered at by breaking through the foul and ugly mists of vapours that did seem to strangle him. If all the year were playing holidays, to sport would be as tedious as to work. But when they seldom come, they wished for come, and nothing pleaseth but rare accidents. So when this loose behaviour I throw off, and pay the debt I never promised, by how much better than my word I am, by so much shall I falsify men's hopes, and like bright metal on sullen ground, my reformation, glittering over my fault, shall show more goodly and attract more eyes than that which hath no foil to set it off. I'll so offend, to make offence a skill, redeeming time when men think least I will." So here he begins by saying to the audience, "I know you all, and in a short while I will uphold the seriousness of your demeanour. So I will, at the moment, I'm being irresponsible and having a good time, but at the right time I will revert to the role that I should and that you expect of me." And so he is saying that he is playing a part, and that he's mixing with the common man as a means to understand them and to let them understand him as well. And that sets up for us in the play that he's being deliberate. He is not just an irresponsible young spoilt brat, but he has a purpose to what he's doing. So he says, "Herein I will imitate the sun. From that time forward I will be part of the royal family again, who doth permit," and he's talking now in the metaphor of the sun, "I'll be the sun who does permit the base contagious clouds to smother up his beauty from the world." So it's like he's in this clouded fog, but his birthright as the king to be will shine through, and it's more powerful than anything else. So while things seem dark and gloomy now, because it's God-given, that will come through strongly. And he says that when he please again to be himself, being wanted, he may be more wondered at. So he's saying, when I please to be myself, when I take on my role again, people, when it's time of need, it'll be an even greater wonder, and people will love me for it. By breaking through the foul and ugly mists of vapours that did seem to strangle him. So he's talking about the mixing with the lower orders and hanging around with common petty crooks. But I think we can also see that there is a reference to all the subterfuge and political machinations that are going on in England at the time, and that he's probably, Shakespeare is referencing the fact that Henry IV wasn't a popular king, and Prince Hal is going to outshine him, and the play is really setting up what is good leadership and what does it take to be a good king, and so we do compare Hal to Henry IV, as a means of like exploring that idea, and that's what Shakespeare's trying to get us to look at. Then he says, if all the year were playing holidays, to sport would be as tedious as to work. So he's saying that this brief interlude that I've had, the time that I've had, hanging out at the tavern, it's short-lived and it would become boring pretty quickly. Okay, so it's serving the purpose, but he knows that he'll have to get back to work. But when they seldom come, when holidays seldom come, they wished for come. So that that you look forward to these things when you have them in small doses. And nothing pleaseth but rare accidents. So when this loose behaviour I throw off, and pay the debt I never promised, he's saying when I resume my proper role, I'll pay the debt that I never promised. I'll take on the responsibilities that I have not promised to do, by how much better than my word I am. So he's saying my actions will be much stronger or larger than the words that he speaks. So he will take on that role, and he'll be a good king, and he'll lead by example. By so much shall I falsify men's hopes, and like bright metal on sullen ground. So he's saying, he's using the simile here, isn't he? That he's saying if there was a shining metal on dull ground, my reformation, glittering over my fault, shall show more goodly and attract more eyes than that which hath no foil to set it off. So he's saying the extreme contrast in my behaviour, going from the extreme of living irresponsibly to taking on the role of responsible government, will outshine. He'll make him seem even more right for the role of king than if he was just the prince and assumed that position. I'll so offend to make offence a skill. So he's there saying that, I will take on my roles with responsibility, and I'll do them to my best ability. Redeeming time when men think least I will. So he's saying that I'll make up for all my misdoings, for my misspent youth, once I take on that role. So I think, while he is drinking and hanging around with the common element, he's doing it for a purpose. He's getting to understand his subjects better, and getting them to understand him as well, what sort of person that he is. And he knows that when he becomes king, he will be far better than his father has been, and that will redeem him. So this is a really important time in the play. It's very early in the play, and it's an opportunity, a rare opportunity for Hal to talk directly to the audience and let them know of his intentions. And you'll notice that in the couplet at the end of this line, the last two lines has a rhyming pattern at the end of it, skill and will, which just reinforces that idea that he's saying that I'll redeem myself when most people don't think I'm capable of it. So I'll far outshine their expectations.